Hello, this is Biot-Savart, and welcome to episode 11 of my Battlefield 1 weapon guides. Today we'll be looking at the third light machine gun, the Madsen MG. It is unlocked with 200 war bonds and comes in 3 variants: low weight, storm, and trench. The Madsen machine gun is a Danish weapon, manufactured by then company Madsen AS, today known as Dansk Industry Syndicate AS. It was designed by Julius A. Rasmussen and Theodor Schubo. It is named after Colonel Wilhelm Hermann Olaf Madsen, the Danish Minister of War in the early 1900s. Similar to the Automatico M1918, the weapon uses an overhead magazine to get the aid of gravity to load the next round into place, and unfortunately in-game you will quickly notice this to be a very obstructive piece of furniture. Given its Danish origins, the Madsen is one of few weapons in Battlefield 1 that it was used both by the Triple Alliance and Triple Entente during World War I. It was even used by Danish and Norwegian forces during World War II, but was not retired by Denmark until 1955. The weapon remains in use by Brazilian police forces to this day, so the weapon can be said to have more than a century of service now. In-game, the Madsen fires at 540 rounds per minute, average for the light machine guns. The magazine is only 30 rounds, thus severely limiting its support behind the front line capability. With that said, the partial reload is fairly quick at 2.65 seconds, but the full reload is a more lengthy 4.2 seconds. The damage ranges from 28 to 21, with the lower damage kicking in at only 35 meters. Recoil is on the lower end of fully automatic weapons, so the weapon is capable out to middle range. The low-weight variant is the only one that comes with a bipod, but given the short 30-round magazine, you can only handle 2 enemies at a time at most. Afterwards you'll have to reload, so you may want to select another LMG altogether for a constant suppressive force. When not suppressed, this variant has a quicker center speed recovery than the other two, but the recoil of the Madsen is controllable enough to rarely need to burst fire at close and middle range. Overall, this is an ineffective variant. The Storm variant reduces the recoil of the Madsen courtesy of an added foregrip. This is a decent upgrade, allowing for a more mobile machine gun role. In truth, the Madsen should always be considered for a more mobile role, and the Storm variant is one of 2 direct upgrades to that end, but it doesn't solve a very in-your-face problem. The overhead magazine obstructs a significant portion of your view, and at middle range the Storm variant suffers the most from this design flaw. The other 2 variants' focus on long or close range at least mitigate this flaw somewhat. Editing the iron sight to an AA type does little to resolve this issue. The Trench variant has improved hip-fire accuracy, reducing the reticle to 1.834 degrees, somewhat larger than the non-trench SMGs. This may well be the best variant, as the short magazine and reasonable fire rate will keep you competitive in close quarters, while you can still carry with you your support class equipment and gadgets to help your team. It also removes the obstructive magazine from play, as you should have a clearer picture of nearby enemies by hip firing. Although you will still be outclassed by dedicated assault players with submachine guns and shotguns, this is generally the best variant. The third support class sidearm is the Repetierpistole M1912. The Steyr M1912 was an Austro-Hungarian sidearm manufactured by Steyr Mannlicher, today called Steyr Arms, and has since been acquired by Czech RSBC Holdings AS. The weapon was designed as an improvement upon the Roth Steyr M1907 and is considered one of the best overall pistols of World War I, reaching close to the respect levels akin to the more famous M1911. In-game, the weapon has an intermediate rate of fire with intermediate damage, 30 to 15 beyond 33 meters, with a reasonable 8-round clip magazine. The clip magazine results in a very unique phenomenon where a full reload is actually faster than a partial reload if there are less than 4 bullets remaining in the clip. Overall, the Madsen MG is an unusual and somewhat awkward entry into Battlefield 1's light machine gun lineup. While its manageable recoil and average fire rate give it respectable performance at close to mid-range, the small 30-round magazine and heavily obstructive overhead feed prevent it from fulfilling the traditional sustained fire support role. Of the 3 variants, the Trench stands out as the most practical choice, leaning into close quarters mobility and sidestepping the worst visibility issues, while the low-weight and Storm variants struggle to justify themselves against stronger, more specialized LMGs. In the right hands, the Madsen can still contribute through aggressive positioning and smart use of support gadgets, but it demands you play around its limitations rather than rely on raw firepower. When your opponents begin to notice that an LMG shouldn't be this powerful in the trenches, tell them to stay mad, son. Thanks for watching. Join me next time when I'll be covering the third sniper rifle, the Russian 1895.
We are losing objective Edward.
Wow, that gas did a heck of a lot. Oh, even the limpet charge got somebody.